Yeah, good day, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on the time you are able to access this content. My name is Adeboye Ibrahim, also known as CM Pro. Yeah, CM Pro, my nigga, call me. We're gonna be talking about how to sketch and cut some cubical shapes that we have in letters and in figures. In letters, we have letter like C, we have letter like O, we have letter like S. Then in figures, we have 3, we have 6, we have 8 and 9. So to make this video very concise, I'll be using figure 8 to teach this lesson. Once again, don't forget to subscribe to this channel, like this video, comment, share, help me share this video so that I can have more subscribers out there. So without further ado, let's jump into this tutorial. At the beginning, you need to make sure you have your plywood or your cardboard paper. It depends on the purpose this thing has to serve for you. If you are the student, that means you are going to make use of cardboard. So you have to determine your size. You have to determine the size of your figure. That is the first thing you need to do. So let's say I'm using 20 as my height. So I have to use 3/4 for the width so that I can have a good shape. It does not have to be half of the height. No, that would be very wrong. It will be too tall. Then the shape won't be very okay for you to use. So now let's jump into the tutorial. I've talked about the size. So while you're measuring the size, make sure you measure the size from two end. The first one can be at the bottom, then the other one can be at the top, or just very close to the bottom or close to the top. That is for you to have a very straight line that will guide your letter or your shape. You do the same thing while you measure the weight as well. You do the same thing while you measure the weight. You measure the weight. Like now, I measured my 15 from the bottom. Then I also measure another 15 from the top. Then I measure 121 from the top. Then I also measure another 21 from the bottom. So I now use my ruler, that is my Panasaw. Yeah, Panasaw. My dad called it Panasaw. My dad was actually a furniture carpenter during his lifetime. So he's late. I also dedicate this video to him. He's a great man, a very creative man. So without further ado, let's continue. So when you get your shape drawn, now I now have to determine the middle of the width. I measure from the left, get my size. I measure from the right and get my size. I'm going to be working on figure 8 as I've said earlier. So I did the same thing with the height. I measure from the height. I determine the half of that 21. So then I determine it as well from the bottom and from the top. So now I'm doing a very fast sketch of the curved edge for figure 8. A very fast sketch, and that is necessary. Let's move on. So when you do that at each edges, you see now that is very much looking like I'm making a letter O, but I'm not making a letter O. So that is why I said this shape particularly can help you to cut your letter C, letter O or 0, letter S, figure 3, figure 6, figure 9 and figure 0. Sorry, I omitted that before. Now I'm making the inner circle for figure 8. This is just a rough sketch. Don't mind that the line is so prominent to know if it is accurate. Then one thing you need to know about figure 8 is that the shape of the zero at the bottom and the shape of the zero at the top might not be the same. The one at the top can be smaller while the one at the bottom can be bigger. Just like I've said about Sir Shina Peters' music, Sepe Sepe figure 8. You know there's no a lady will be just shapeless when the top part, that is the Chelsea, is much more bigger than the Barca. No, no, we won't like such lady. So, which is why our figure 8, the zero at the bottom is supposed to be bigger than the one at the top. That's the kind of lady I know most of we guys are going to fall in love with more. From each side, I need to determine the thickness of the shape from each side, since we have one zero at the top, another zero at the bottom, so we need to determine the thickness. So that is why you see me putting the ruler at the top of the shape. So you need to determine that. I need to start cutting out the edge of the curve part for figure 8, because this is the major work here. After I cut it out, you're gonna see the next thing I'm gonna do. Yeah, it's gonna shock you guys. Now I already cut it out. So this is what I'll use to determine the perfect shape of other edges. Definitely. Now I have to turn it back to get that same shape at the other side. It's very important to do that. Note that the line I drew before, that was the first sketch I did. It does not have to be more prominent. So the best option you can do is just to clean or make this new one thicker, or preferably you make use of another color of ink to rule the sketch out. Now you can see my line is very prominent. The line is very prominent now. Now I'm doing the other part of the zero at the bottom of the head. So watch carefully. You can see that. Yeah, you have to make sure you add more pressure so that the line can be prominent, since I'm using the same pencil. Now I've gotten the perfect shape. Now let me cut out. You can see me cutting it out. You can see me cutting it out. You can see me. It's going to be definitely. It's going to be perfect. It's going to be perfect. You can do this for your letter O and figure 0 as well. Just cut out one edge out of the 4 edges, then place it at each edges of the curve part and just sketch it out. So now I'm at the top of the figure 8. That is the Chelsea. I'm doing the Chelsea now. So now I'm cutting it out. I even have to cut the bottom part together with the top part so I can use that sample to sample the other size. Straight and very perfect. Straight and very perfect, I told you. You can see me. Don't mind the distance. Just place at the top of the shape. Then make sure it's aligned. It's very much aligned. Then roll it out. You can see me rolling it out. I'm doing the finishing now with my hand. Very perfect. Very perfect. There's no how you apply this method to your cutting, sketching that you won't get it right. You can see me doing it very fast to save our time. Now the next thing for me is to just do normal tracing out with the knife, with the cutter rather, doing normal cutting out with the cutter and the same thing. So definitely we are going to get a perfect shape. Yeah, I have to add more pressure to it so that it can move very fast. Now you can see the shape is well cut out. Now let's do the inner circle or oval shape. Let's do it. Now I'm doing this to get one sample for other curved edges for the shape. That was the same thing I did for the bigger shape. Now I'm doing it for the smaller one that are inside now, and you can see this one I've already cut it out. Now I have to place it on that side, do my sketch again. Very thick. I'm adding pressure to it. So I'll do that same thing for 3 other edges to get a very perfect curve when I'm cutting it out. So I have to place it on the other side of the circle. Yeah, now I'm sketching it out. Now it is time to cut it out. I'm cutting it very gently because of the first cutting has to be done very gently. It's just like you are creating a road for the knife to pass again. So I have to press it. Use the cutter to cut more. So guys, we are going to come to the end of this tutorial now. So this is how you can cut out your shape, your letter, your figure that has curved edges. This is how you can get a perfect one. Either you are drawing or you are cutting it out. Of course, you have to draw before you cut out. Thank you. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Turn on your notification bell for more updates.